Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about Marvel Runaways Season 1. The Runaways is one of my all-time favorite Marvel television shows. It's like my second favorite next to that of Daredevil when it comes to live action. I like Marvel Runaways way better than anything the MCU Disney Plus Marvel shows have ever made. And to tell you the truth, whether you love them or hate them, when it comes to Marvel television that's not part of the MCU Disney Plus shows, whether you love them or not, a lot of them was so much better than what Disney has put out. They had style, they had flair, they had their own themes. They were complex, they were drama filled. There was no Disney baby humor, and that's how Marvel Runaways was. There's humor in it, but it's mature, regular television humor. It's not weird, awkward, like Disney baby humor of somebody like pulling up like a device. And somebody like, oh my God, what kind of device is that? Does it like set off a bomb? And then it turns out to be an MP3 player. Oh, wait, I thought you was, wait, no, see, I was gonna say, wait, I'm improvising, wait, I don't know what to say because I've got my lines, so I'm improv. See, none of that stupid crap like in Thor, Love, and Thunder crap, That was just stupid. But when they have humor in the Runaways, it's either quirky or it fits that character and that one character and that one character only. It's not every single character in the entire show. This show came back out in 2017 and it was on Hulu, and the first season had 10 episodes. And I've been wanting to talk about this for like the longest time. I've been putting off for the longest time because I haven't rewatched it in a long time. But I've had Hulu for like 2 years. I'm just now watching it, trying to hurry up as fast as I can. I got like a week left. And so like this show was really, really cool. Like it was interesting. It was mysterious. It's based off a comic book I've never heard of. And a lot of people was very excited for this comic book. However, a lot of people was disappointed in the first season because for the most part, the first season in those 10 episodes is a slow burn, a bit of a drag, and mostly filler, but the filler is good for the sense of you're getting to know these characters, starting to get more invested, starting to see what the mystery is all about, and then leave you off on cliffhangers, wanting you to come back for a second season. And most of the fans did come back for a second season. Some people did not. However, it did not matter. For those 3 seasons, their review ratings and stuff like that, approval rating, whatever you call it, was in the 80 percentile and everything. On Rotten Tomatoes, each season was like around 80 something. That's pretty good and everything. And because it was on Hulu and because of the television show, they really weren't able to do like all the cool magical effects and power effects that like they have in the comics and stuff. So they had to streamline it big time, especially in season 1. There's probably only like 2 major fights in season 1, and they're very brief because they just didn't have the money for it. But as each season kept on coming and they started getting more money, they started doing more impressive stuff. Season 2 and 3 are probably some of the best there are. Season 1 is good, but it does drag a bit. And a lot of fans, like I said, was upset because they didn't run away faster. It actually took them until the last episode to finally run away and everything, which is funny because they call it the Runaways. But yeah, season 2, they started bringing in more characters from Marvel, from the comic books, from the Runaway comic books, and in season 3. And they even did something impressive. They crossed over with Cloak and Dagger from Freeform. Now this isn't a rundown review, it's just season 1 rundown review. I just wanted to give you the gist of just like the stuff that the show has done in the other seasons and stuff. And they had to get around certain things like the mutant label because Molly is a mutant, but they couldn't say that because of the deal with Fox and everything. Now, what caused this to be canceled? It's hard to say because the ratings were good. It probably had to do with that stupid like Fox Disney merger and Disney trying to like shut down every non-Disney Marvel like television show that there was and stuff because a lot of them started coming towards the end. However, the ironic thing is after they started coming to an end and they started creating more, putting them on Hulu, but only lasted for one season and stuff. So there's really no telling what really caused the downfall of this show. But they ended it in a way that was satisfying to fans from something that's been building up from season one. And because they took liberty with the comic book, some things are changed around a lot. Like they don't have their code names from the comic books. The parents are completely different in the comics and stuff from in that in the show. Molly got completely redone and stuff. And there's a lot of certain relationships don't necessarily happen in this show. Basically, what is the Runaways? Well, it's a group of teenage kids that used to be friends back in the day, and then they reconnected. And they reconnected when their parents were doing some shady stuff. Their parents are in a cult, and they're sacrificing teenage runaways and stuff. And so they try to bring their parents to justice. And so they start to like gain certain abilities, all except for Alex, who is like the leader. But he's super smart. But everybody else has a different type of power set. But like in the show, now in the comic, the parents are as evil can be. But in the show, they didn't want to go that route. They wanted a little bit more friendly family affair. So what they did is that the parents in the show are still evil, but they believe they're doing what they're doing for the best interest of their kids. And they actually love their kids and stuff. That's noble and everything, but I wanted to see evil parents versus good kids. Like, that's like the coolest thing ever. How often have you seen that in a superhero thing? I've never even heard of that. Superhero kids who have to go against their supervillain parents. The insanity of it all, if they really would have went there in the show. Now, there was supposed to be a Runaways movie in 2008, but with the success of the Avengers movie, Marvel decided to axe that, and then years later, about a decade later, make the television show. Now, the character of Tina, who is the mother of Nico, she actually appears in the very first Doctor Strange movie played by a completely different actress. So there are some tie-ins to it, but the Hulu show isn't set in a different universe. And it's still crazy they crossed over with a completely different superhero show from like a different network. Now, when it comes to Nico, she is probably the most popular out of the entire group. She's my favorite for sure. And she's so popular that Marvel keeps bringing her character back around. She was involved in a video game recently that came out with Marvel, voiced by the same actress who played her in The Runaways. Not only that, but Nico is gonna be in Spider-Man Freshman Year, the animated series, but I don't know who she's gonna be voiced by. So far, she is the only Runaway to have like a recurring role in the actual MCU, because she is that popular. I was hoping like so badly that they would make a cameo in one of the Marvel movies, but they never have. And the cast is pretty cool. I only recognize one person, Greg Scollin, I think his name is. He's a British actor who now lives in America. Ever since he moved to America, like I've only heard him use his fake American accent. I've only heard him use his real accent in Wizards of Waverly Place when he played that of Alex, werewolf boyfriend and stuff. And so in the comics, like I said, the parents are different. Now, Alex Wilder, His parents in the comics are like mob bosses, but in the television show, his dad's a former gangster and his mom's an attorney. Nico, what's her last name? Nico. Mineros. Her parents in the comic are dark wizards, but in the show, only her mom is a witch. The dad just has no powers, but the dad's having an affair with that of Chase's mom, the Steins. Speaking of the Steins, in the comic, they're both mad scientists, but in the show, only the dad's a mad scientist who's dying of cancer, and the mom is a former college student of like science, and she's now a stay-home mother and having an affair with Nico's dad. Let's see who else. Gert. Um, the Yorkuses in the comics, they're time travelers and they create a dinosaur back in the day using modern day technology and they bonded to Gertrude. In the show, however, they're just bioscientists and they don't do time travel. They're very quirky and they're the nicest ones of the entire group, along with Chase's mom and Nico's dad, and so also Molly's parents and stuff. And so like they do create a dinosaur in the modern day, but somehow it links itself to Gertrude, but they don't know how. Molly is completely different. Molly Hernandez in the show, her character was race bent to be Latino, but I think she might be Afro Latino. Because the dude who plays her dad looks Afro Latino and she looks a little Afro Latino and stuff. But in the comics, she is not that. In the comics, her last name is Hayes. Now, in the show, Molly's middle name is Hayes. And so, in the comics, the Hayeses are mutants, telepathic mutants. And Molly has super strength because she's a mutant. But in the show, they can't use the word mutant. So she becomes super strong due to some mineral rock that they found. And her parents die. They die before the show even started. But in the comics, they're not dead. And so, and her parents are actually pretty nice. Trying to think, Carolina. What is her parents' last name? Um, the Deans, I think. I think they're the Deans. They're alien invaders in the comic books. They glow like pink and everything, and they can fly and shoot rays out their hands. Now, in the show, it is only her dad who is an alien, and her mom is just the head of like a church, but technically it's a cult. And so, like, when it comes to that of the runaways themselves, Alex Wilder, he is a child prodigy and he is like just extremely smart. He has no code name in the comics. Now, in the comics, he does betray the team and dies. And so, like, and he also likes to be by himself and doesn't try to rekindle with the rest of the runaways. But in the show, in the pilot, he does rekindle with them. He wears glasses and his glasses are always slipping down. He has to take his finger and point them back constantly in the show. And he has a huge crush on Nico. And so, like, his character, his dad is like a former gangster. And what happened was his dad was in jail. His dad lawyer was Alex's mom. And so like he had a friend, I think his name is Darius in the show. And Darius was like accomplice to the person that Alex dad shot. And Darius was nice at that time. Jonah, who is Carolina's dad, gave Alex's dad an offer he could not refuse. He told him he wanted the land that his uncle inherited. And so, Alex's dad's all like, you ain't paying me no money, man. You give me 50-50, split it on the line. We're going to be some partners and this stuff like this. And so, like, he's like, all right, fine, but we got to get you out of prison first. And so Darius is supposed to get out earlier, but Darius took the fall and everything. And Alex's dad promised, oh man, like, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of your aunt and everything. His dad didn't do none of that and kept all the money. Julie, Jonah gave, like, I don't know. He said he gave them his home, but the home was down in the basement. So maybe they had a home built. But anyway, they're super rich now. All the parents are super rich. Their houses in California, boy, now I know why people vote the way they do so they can have cheaper taxes in like California. Those are some nice houses, man. Like seriously, those are some nice mansions. And on the show, oh my God, those are nice. And they got like multiple cars and like everything. Like I ain't never seen a house like that. And so like um so Darius is a problem for like the Wilders and everything. And so Alex gets kidnapped by Darius. And he tells him the truth about his dad and how his dad like let him down and stuff. And so this causes a rift between Alex and his parents. And Alex knows what the parents did is wrong for like, the cult thing they're in. I'll get into it a little bit later. But like I said before, Alex has a crush on Nico. And Alex hasn't been friends with the group in a long time because they pretty much broke up when Nico's sister Amy died. But Alex did not go to the funeral. So after that huge departure, the whole group started to disband and everything. And one day his parents are like, one day you probably should get the group back together and whatever. And he does. It takes a good while, but it does because they just don't want to talk to nobody no more. And him and Chase are the ones who always get into the most arguments. And so, like, him and Nico, he's crushing on her like big time, and she's crushing back. It's getting to the point because she likes him too. And so they start to not necessarily date, but they get into that process. They're very close to being like boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're doing like a lot of flirting and stuff. And things are going really great until she starts to question him. She starts to ask him, why weren't you at my sister's funeral and everything? And how did you know my mom's password to like the company she runs named Wizard? He first lied to her, but she knows he's a terrible liar. So she makes him get the truth out. And he tells her that he knows the password because he helped her sister hack the Wizard company that her parents run. And that would cause Amy's life to be in danger because it set off an alarm. And then somebody within the Pride cult went after her, but they don't know who. So she blames him for like the death of her sister because Nico thinks it was a suicide because there was pills next to her. So she thinks, oh, somebody in Pride came after her, so she killed herself. This causes a huge rift to where they no longer start to try to date no more. And she keeps them at an arm's length. Now, in the comics, they do date and everything. And, this is a real, like, upsetting to him because he really, like, he loves her to death. Like, he doesn't want to date none of the other girls just like her. And she doesn't want nothing to do with him no more. And he knows he screwed up, but how was he supposed to know that all those events were going to happen? Now, what really happened to Amy is that she was murdered by a member of Pride. She did not commit suicide, but they don't know this yet. Nico, she is a goth girl. And in the comics, she's known as Sister Grimm, but now she's also now known as Gloom. She doesn't have that code name in the show. And so she's very, 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 very goth and everything. And like before she goes to Alex's place to reunite with everybody, she studies witchcraft, but it doesn't work for her. And because she doesn't even know about her mom yet. And so the spell doesn't work. I think she was trying to resurrect her sister or something like that. She gets upset and goes to Alex's place. For the most part, she does take over as leader in the comics when Alex dies and stuff. In the show, she is one of the people mainly adamant about turning the parents in along with Alex. Her and Alex has the most screen time and they do the most investigating. And so um she later goes to her house and she's investigating Amy. Her mom would not let her in Amy's room. She's trying to look for Amy's diary, the phone, to see who could have contacted her or what she might have wrote down in it. And so as she's looking for it, she accidentally touches something that opens like a door in her house, like a little case. Now her house is like has an AI type system, and it opens like the case, and inside the case is a teeny tiny wand. And then when she touches it, it pricks her finger. It's now encoded to her DNA because it thinks it's her mom. See, the wand only works for her mom and it's only encoded to her DNA. But now since Nico shares her mom's DNA because she's the child, it activates for her. And when it activates, the staff part extends very long. Now in the comics, it comes out her chest. They can't do that for the show because that's too much CGI for them. So basically, she just holds it like it's like a teeny tiny wand, and it just goes like longer and stuff. And when she touches it, she's holding a snowflake in her hand, like a piece of paper. And she's thinking about that. As soon as she's thinking about that, snow starts to come in her mom's office. Alex shows up and they clean up like the ice and everything. This starts their romance type thing, if you will. And so, like, she tries to use the staff when Alex gets kidnapped. She tries to use the staff on the gangsters and everything. In episode 5 is when they should have ran away. That's when the team comes together for the first time and they all start using their powers. She tries to use it, but it's not working. But she's able to put a force field around the group. And so her mom sees her playing with the staff. Her mom teaches her how to use it, but her mom doesn't teach her everything about it. And so, like, when they do run away in the 10th episode, Nico is unable to have the staff because her mom took it back. Now, once she starts to get pissed at Alex and no longer wants to try to date him, she turns, well, I don't know if she turned or she already was, but she's bisexual and everything. See, Catalina has a huge crush on Nico, but Nico never knew that. Also, Nico never seemed interested in Carolina. But when Carolina kissed her, without her consent, by the way, she just starts falling in love with Carolina. And when Carolina gets like taken, she desperately wants to get Carolina back, like she's madly in love. Now, in the comics, yes, after her and Alex date, her and Carolina do date in the comics. And so, like, but in the show, you never got no sense that she was bi. And you never get no sense that she even liked Carolina. Because those two barely talk in the show. Because Carolina mostly focuses her attention on Chase on the show. So it seemed kind of weird how that just happened all like suddenly and like really fast. I get they were trying to like keep it to the comics, but that really should have happened in season 2 when those two started to date. Now it does suck that her and Alice never got to officially date on the show. In fact, in the entire series, but later on they do start to be close and everything as friends. But it would have been nice that she would have dated Alex in the first season, then Carolina in the second. Chase. Chase started off as a jock and a real butthead, but he's actually really, really smart, an inventor and stuff. And so he has a very abusive father who used to smack him around a lot when he was little and smacks his mom around. His dad is dying of a brain tumor. His dad's played by Spike from Buffy, which is crazy because Jonah is played by Cole from Charmed. And it's just so cool that those two people from the WB were villains and now they're on the same show. Anyway, Yes, so Spike is on the show, and it's weird seeing him with brown hair. And so, like, his dad is very angry, very, very, very abusive and stuff, and he scares the crap out of Chase. And so, Chase has a huge crush on Catalina, and throughout the entire show, he's just really rude to Alex. He only calls Alex by his last name. Um, when they're at a party together, him and Carolina, Carolina passes out. I'll explain why later. And then two guys who's on the lacrosse team, Jace is also on the lacrosse team. He sees them take her upstairs. He barges in and they're trying to assault her. He beats both the guys up. She has no idea what happened. And then so the next day at school, people are making fun of her. And the two guys try to fight Chase again, to where Chase just quits the lacrosse team. And so after that, he starts focusing his attention on inventing. And he invents these two metal hand gloves that the fingers extend very long. And they're called the fisticuffs. And they shoot lightning pulses out. His dad is very impressed. His dad has never been impressed with his sports and stuff. And we even see in a flashback, he smacks little Chase around when he's little and stuff. Cause Chase got mad because he didn't come to his game and stuff. And so his dad has taken a new interest in Chase. And they start to bond because of this. Now his dad wants to invent time travel. And he tries to invent kind of like a time travel device and a TV where it just shows you events. And he asked the time travel TV, show me Los Angeles in the future. Well, it doesn't work. He gets mad and smashes it. When they leave, we see images now on the TV. Skyscrapers and buildings are crumbling. Something has caused this, but we don't know what yet. And then when his dad is like by himself and he's looking at the TV has Chase on there, an older version, and he tells his father, "Don't pick up the fisticuffs and everything." And his dad doesn't understand what that means. Now later on, Chase finds out that his dad has cancer. He finds this out when Chase also finds out that his mom has been cheating. How? The dad hacked her phone and eavesdropped on her. So he spills the beans on their little church cult thing. This is when Nico's mom finds out as well. Nico's mom is very cold hearted and stuff. She's just ruthless. And so this causes like a huge problem between Chase and his mom. And so Chase's dad collapses from the brain tumor. He's literally dying. Jonah gives him some of his DNA in a blue juice like form. Nobody knows what it is, but it causes Chase's dad to live, and he's a lot friendlier now. So they're very shocked and confused by this. And then then all of a sudden he starts to get one of his temper tantrums again and he threatens Chase's coach. And then he gets really angry at Chase for being in his laboratory. And as he's pushing and smacking him around, the mom comes in and shoots Chase's dad, her husband. Why? Because Nico's father gave it to her. See, Nico's father wanted to leave his wife, move in with Chase's mom, and get like an apartment. But she's all like, no, this is moving too fast. But he gave her a gun in case, the husband started smacking around. She shoots the crap out of him. This causes Chase to now no longer want to send like his father to like prison. So when they finally get some evidence, he destroys it. I'll get into more about that a little bit later. Chase's nickname in the comic is Gun Arm, Talkback, and Chase Hawk. What the heck? Okay, so Molly Hernandez, who Molly Hayes in the comments, like I said before, she's a mutant. Now, her nickname, code name, is Bruiser in the comic. And now it is Princess Powerful. Lord Jesus have mercy. Okay, so she was race bent on the show to be Hispanic because there is a Hispanic character, Gert, the actress, but she's Jewish, Hispanic, but on the show she's like just Jewish. So anyway, Molly, sadly, her parents died before the show even started. She was taken in by the Yorkuses, and so Molly's parents was starting to not like what they was doing and stuff. And they found some rocks that kept glowing. Molly was playing with the rocks and they didn't know. And they was like leaving like a video message for Molly when she gets older in case anything happens to her, happens to them. Well, next thing you know, somebody dropped off a bomb inside their building and it exploded, killing her parents. Molly survived because of the glowing rocks, giving her super strength. And there we see Molly holding on to a giant rock, which gives her her super strength. Who killed Molly's parents? It was none other than Carolina's mother, Caroline. And then she calls Nico's mother, Tina, telling her it's done. Oh my God, like these people are ruthless and everything. Now, when Jonah found out about the Hernandezes, he sent Tina to stop them. And she did it because she loved Jonah, knowing that she was killing her friends, but she didn't know Molly was in the building. And so, like, because of that, she has to live with Gert and everything. It's so weird calling her Gertrude. They call her Gert on the show. So anyway, Gertrude, she lives with her, and they act like real sisters. They just love each other to death. And so, like, Molly is the youngest of the group, and she's the youngest actress because the show ended in 2019. It's 2022 and she just turned 19 years old. And so like she was like the youngest and stuff. And because she's the youngest, she messes up a lot on the show. When the kids were spying on the parents doing the cult thing, she wanted to see so badly and couldn't see. So she whipped out her phone and took a picture. Now it was dark down there, so the flash alerted the parents, which was dumb. All she had to do was just record them and stuff, and she would be able to see through the phone. That was her first big mistake. Her second mistake is that when they left the underground basement thing and went up the steps, she dropped her barrette on the floor. When Alex's parents saw that, they knew that Molly must have seen them and everything. So they go to silence Molly with a serum that causes you to lose your memory that Gertrude parents came up with. And so Molly plays it off like she was actually being smart and plays it off and all like, oh, like I was the lookout because the other kids wanted to drink alcohol. So now their parents assume, oh, okay, they didn't see nothing. So then she's all like, well, Alex's mom is all like, I have information like on like, your parents and stuff. And so Molly doesn't know anything about her parents. She only met them when she was teeny tiny and stuff. And she doesn't remember. Well, when the kids are trying to get information on the parents so they can go to jail, Molly, like an idiot, tossed to Alex's mom, is all like, where's that information on my mom? You said you were going to give me some. And she's all like, I promise I didn't see nothing. Oops. And then, so now Alex's mom know for a fact the kids saw them, or at least Molly. And so this puts Molly's life in danger. And now she has to go live with a relative of her actual parents who she never met. Because the Yorkises, they were scared that Molly might life would be in danger, so they sent her off. This pisses her off, thinking, "Oh, you just don't want me and stuff." Well, when she's at like her relative's place, um, she's given a key by her relative, and she's all like, they told me to, like, I guess, like, keep unlock the door to like her stuffed animal. But there's no door to her stuffed animal, but she remembers she left it on a train. So she goes to the train station and she like uncovers like a locker. Molly's always on her own adventures on this show. Like, she's always doing her own thing. And so she finds a VHS tape, but she has no idea what that is. She should know what that is. I don't care what anybody said. Anyway, she discovers one day while being alone she has super strength, but it switches on, switches off. And after it switches off, she passes out and falls asleep. And so she uses her super strength to open up the door to the little basement part to where the parents are when they're trying to escape. And then she passes out after that. She uses her strength again when the dinosaur old Lace comes out and attacks her. And she kicks the dinosaur because it's on top of her. And she's getting ready to punch it until Gertrude makes the dinosaur stop. I'll get into old Lace later. And so then she uses her strength another time when Alex got kidnapped by the gangsters. And it's funny, when Alex's dad showed up, boy, he showed up with Uzi. He just started like laying down lids. Oh, I forgot to mention Alex shot one of the gangster dudes. But I'll get into that a little bit later. But Molly uses her super strength to like stop the car. This is when the team comes together. It's a really cool scene and everything. It wasn't that much of a battle because of the CGI and the budget, but it was still cool to see them come together. And so basically, she has to stay hidden now from like Pride. That's the cult of the family. And that's pretty much it with her. It's just that her hat. In the comic, she wears a pink beanie. In the show, because it was 2017 and politics, Trump was pissing off women at that time. And remember they created a little hat. It's like pink and it's like a beanie that's like a cat ears. I think it called like a pussy hat or something like that. They have her constantly wear it on the show. And so, yeah, she wears that throughout the entire first season and pretty much the entire series. It looks ridiculous on her. I wish they just would have gave her a regular pink beanie. By season 2, she gets more interesting. She meets a dude that's similar to her. Now, in the comics, he's actually a vampire, but they didn't want to go that route just yet. So they just made him into what she is and stuff. But she gets more interesting as time passes. But she does screw up a lot in this series, man. But she's the youngest, but she doesn't want to be treated that way. Gertrude has purple hair and glasses. She has a huge crush on Chase. And, all she can do is like think about him. She is a what's it, justice warrior, I think they call it. She's a feminist. She's a riot girl. A riot girl is an underground feminist movement and everything. And so like she's all about like, saving like the environment and like, preaching to the man and stuff like that. And because of that, it gives her a reputation of being lame at school. Nobody wants to hang out with her. Nobody wants to join her little group. When she does form a group with 3 other people, ironically, one of them is the actress who plays Beth on Stargirl, Kim Shields from Insatiable, and I don't know who the guy is. They basically had little cameos in 2 episodes. And so, like, she deserts her group because she's hanging out with her old group. And so she said she's very emotional. Like, she said, like, she can walk into a room and nobody sees her. She's, like, invisible. And they only see her when they want to make fun of her. And she hates that. Her frenemy is Caroline, well, I can't talk. Caroline and stuff. Not Caroline. Um, Catalina. God, I can't say her name tonight. And that's her frenemy and everything because Chase, he likes Catalina, but Catalina doesn't like him back. Also, Catalina is like, she assumes that Catalina is prettier than her. When she sees like her pal, she's like, oh great, she's like pink and she glows and everything. And so when Molly's about to be attacked by the dinosaur, she tells the dinosaur to stop. And it stops. It literally obeys her commands. Why? It's never explained why. Like literally, it's never explained why. And so I can't remember if they explain in other seasons or not. And so she grows to love this dinosaur. And she loves telling it like what to do. And they're literally linked and bonded. In the comics, whenever Gertrude would have like a certain emotion, she thought it was herself having it, but it was actually the dinosaur having it. And the dinosaur will obey her every command, but it will be hard-headed and do what it wants to do sometimes. And so like the dinosaur, she names the dinosaur Old Lace when she has to say goodbye to it when she has to run away. Because the thing is too big for her to keep. But it follows her anyway. It looks like a what are them things called that was in Jurassic Park? A raptor, I think it's called. Not the T Rex, but the smaller one that looks like a T Rex. I think it's a raptor. It has like little feathers on its head, and it has a giant ring nose in its nose. I don't understand that, but it's a really cool dinosaur. It's partially animatronics and also CGI when it moves around, running around and stuff. But for the most part, it's very convincing looking. I like that they went the practical route on that thing. And so when she has to say goodbye to Olay, she's upset. She gets anxiety. Turns out she takes medication for that. And so like her parents are super nice. They're very quirky and everything. They make the comedic relief of the show, and they finish each other's sentences. When they think Tina, Nico's mom's gonna kill them and everything, they realize that Molly's parents left them their ranch. And so they're gonna just go there and live. But then they're all like, but what about the girls? Maybe we'll just leave them. But then they decide they're gonna take them anyway. But then Tina shows up. And so Gertrude, she has a huge crush on Chase. And she always bickers back and forth with Catalina. Well, one time, when her and Chase is supposed to do something very important to bring down their parents, they decide to strip down and clickety clack. But then after that, she's pissed at him. And, he's all like, why are you pissed at me for? She's all like, oh, we haven't talked about what we did. And he's all like, oh, maybe because our parents are probably going to kill us. We have to take them to jail and stuff like that. And so she just like, she's one of the type of people who wants to get into an argument with a man. I had a friend like that in college, boy. Ooh, made me mad. She was cool though. I was surprised she was a lot older than like I thought she was. I thought she was like my age, 20. I think she was like 30 or 40, but she looked so young and stuff. But she was cool until I realized something. She always starts like the male versus female arguments and everything. Like she just starts those for no reason. And that got on my nerves. I had to stop being friends with her. And that's how Gertrude is and stuff. And so him and her, they kind of like had like a bit of a falling out. But it's weird that they did it because he tells, I think, Nico that even this is weird. Like he crushed on Catalina for the entire season until when he tried to kiss her, she was not interested. And then when Gertrude's interested, now all of a sudden, oh, I've liked her forever and ever. I'm just like, when? It's like this relationship came out of nowhere, similar to like how Nico became like bi out of nowhere. And it's like, I don't care if they like get together, but at least make some hints about it like early on and not towards the end of the season. And so for the most part, her only power is she can control her dinosaur. And she loves it to death, just like she loves Molly. Catalina. Princess Justice and Lucy in the Sky is the comic book code name of Catalina. Catalina, I say the most interesting one for last. She is a, oh wait, what's her face? Gertrude name is Acidic in the comics. Anyway, Catalina is an alien, but she don't know it yet. She's just a regular girl and she gets picked on. People assume she's a lesbian and everything. They make fun of her at school. They don't like her because Chase likes her. And all the mean girls in cheerleading, they are mean to Catalina. And so, like, her and Chase are always having screen time together. They're always hanging out. And like I said before, he has a crush on her. Well, when they was hanging out on a rooftop because Catalina was pissed about something. I think because she saw Nico and Alex together. And so she's drinking on the rooftop and then actually, let me get into that later. First she's at the party. Let's get to the assault thing first. First she's at the party and she's dancing by herself and her mom's the head of that church-like cult. And so she's been wearing this bracelet on her wrist since like she was little, but she's tired of wearing it. So she takes it off. And when she does, her skin starts to turn pink. Her whole body turns pink and she glows. Nobody at the party can see this. Then she passes out because it's her first time glowing and stuff. That's when the guys take her upstairs. They try to assault her. Jace shows up to save the day. She has no idea what had happened, but people start making fun of her at school. And the guys lied on her saying that she wanted it and all this other crap. Then from Gertrude, she finds out the truth, talking about Jace was trying to protect you. That's why he didn't tell you. And so her and Jace are like the closest out of the entire group. They're constantly hanging out. That's only because he crushes on her. When he kisses her and everything, she is not interested and he doesn't understand why. And so, but she crushes on Nico like really, really bad. Gert can find out about this, and so this pisses her off, and she's like, well, so you like Chase. They have a huge argument. Then she kisses Nico and everything. Oh, I forgot to mention the rooftop. Okay, so back on the rooftop, she's drunk and she falls off the rooftop. Chase tries to grab her, but he only grabs onto her bracelet. It pops off and all of a sudden she's pink, glowing, and flying now. And so he's the only one who knows her secret. All right, back to the kiss. So she kisses Nico. Nico likes it. Now at first though, she pulls away, kind of like, what the world? But then she goes in there and now they're like lovey-dovey with each other. And they have not told Alex yet. You just think what's gonna happen with that. So anyway, when she's at this like party event, Jonah shows up and like he's all like, you know, I've always wanted to meet you and everything like that. She has no idea that's her dad. She thinks the other dude's her dad. I forget other dude's name. He's like a member of the church. And so like her mom had no idea that they're aliens as well. The mom is not an alien on the show, but in the comics she is. And so like, man, this would have been made into a movie. Oh, the budget, the intensity and everything, I'm telling you. So anyways, she uses her powers for the first time, not knowing what they would do when she's trying to save Alex from the gangsters. She blasts them dead in the face, blinding them and stuff, as Chase comes in and uses his fisticuffs on them. And so like when they're trying to figure out what their parents are doing at the drill site, this is the second big fight. And so she uses her powers until her dad shows up. And she tells the group, just leave. She'll handle like the parents as they try to like flee and everything. She tries to fight her father. They both blast each other. He's so much stronger than her. So much stronger. He knocks her completely out. She has to be put on a breathing tube and stuff. A weird sci-fi looking one. And so like, this is when the group rescues her and everything. And then they run away. Now, she also doesn't want her parents to like go to jail. And so now let's get into what happened to all this crazy event stuff. So when it comes to the relationships, You know, that is my one big gripe in the show. When the relationships in the comics, like I understand why the relationships are on the show. That had nothing to do with who's hooking up with who. But my only problem is there was no build up to it. I mean, with Chase and Gertrude, there was no build up from Chase. And with Catalina and Nico, there was no build up from Nico. It just like they're like, okay, let's just put them in a relationship because the comic book says so. But it makes sense for Catalina to like Nico, and it makes sense for Gertrude to like Chase because in the show they actually built that up and shown that they had interest and stuff. But it just comes out of complete nowhere that both Chase and Nico were like the characters that they hook up with in the show. It just comes completely out of like nowhere, especially for Nico, because Nico barely talks to Catalina on the show. And so it's kind of like if she barely has any screen time with her, well, when did she start crushing on her? And when it comes to Chase, yeah, he has screen time with Gertrude, but all he does is fan over Catalina. So it's kind of like that just doesn't like fit well in like, in the scope of the show. And of course they only did that because the comic book says to do that, but they should have built it up like they did with Alex and they did with Gertrude and stuff. They built their crushes up on the person that they like and everything. It reminds me of the animated series Harley Quinn. Because they get together in the comics and because fans wanted to see it, they were not together at all in season 1 and there was no build up to it. But then by season 2, they was forced into that relationship because the fans demanded it. But like I said before, there was no build up from like season 1. And so it's just weird when it just comes completely out of nowhere. Oh, I just also want to point out when it comes to Gertrude's mom, she was actually a villain in Charmed during the first season. She was the secretary demon. And that's funny because like this show now has two like Charmed villains, Jonah and who played Cole, and now this actress, and then the dude who plays Chase's dad. He was Spike on Buffy. That's so ironic. Oh, not only that, but the actress who plays Tina, Nico's mom, she was on Charmed in one episode. So that's cool. They have 3 Charmed like stars. So after the kids get together, after so many years not being together, they are at Alex's place. They start to walk around and they find a hidden compartment in like the study. Nobody's supposed to be in there and all this other stuff. But they go down there and they spy on their parents. The parents are dressed in red robes and they don't understand what their parents are doing. Then comes a girl. The girl is some runaway teenage girl. Catalina met her earlier. They sent her to like the church cult type place. And that's what Catalina knows her from. She's like, oh, it's that girl. Next thing you know, they strip her down and they put her in like a sci-fi box tube thing. There's another sci-fi box tube thing next to it. They turn on a flickering of light and the girl disappears. And they're all like, I think our parents just killed that girl or disintegrated her one. This is when Molly screws up, takes the pictures. They flee. The parents are all like, did somebody spy on us? And Nico's mom's all probably like, oh, it's probably just a reflection from like my staff. But they're not sure. The parents up to some shady kind of crap. And the parents have literally been kidnapping 15 runaways and feeding them into this machine. The machine kills them, takes their energy and feeds it into Jonah. Jonah is very, very, very old. He is basically a dried up husk and he needs all this rejuvenation type stuff. Now, Chase's father is the one who created the tubes and everything. But nobody knows what Jonah is. Nobody has a clue that he is some type of alien. But Jonah met Caroline, Carolina's mom, when Caroline was just a little girl. but she never suspected, hey, she knew he was something, but she didn't know exactly what. And so the kids are now worried. They're all like, our parents are murderers and everything. But why would they do this? And then, so when a lot more shady stuff starts to happen with the parents start going after Molly. They know now that parents are so dangerous, they might try to kill them. So they want to turn them into the police, but they need evidence. And then one of the police they're supposed to talk to turns out it's a friend of like their parents, so they can't go to him. And so they need solid proof. They need evidence. And so basically, this is when the show kind of lags a little bit because it's just a family drama and them investigating stuff, more mystery stuff starts to happen. It's filler, but it's good filler. And so, like, the parents, they're all like, we need more sacrifices. So they're looking for homeless people now on the street. This is what causes Chase's dad to hallucinate. Like, he is literally hallucinating from like the brain tumor. While all this is going on, Nico's father and Chase's mother are having an affair. Nico's mom is cold as ice. The whole group is terrified of her. They think she will literally kill them and everything. And so that's just how ruthless and mean and stone cold she is. And so like um when Alex is like kidnapped and stuff, this is when the group finally comes together. It's a cool moment. They all use their power to help Alex and everything. Alex had just got through shooting a gangster because he was gonna shoot Alex's dad. And so Alex's dad's are like, look, I'll take care of this kid. I'll get him to like a hospital or whatever. But his dad lies to him. His dad takes him to like, um, to take his essence away, right? Now, the girl that they tried to do that from, the machine did not work on her for some reason. And she came back in the tube and she woke up. And what's his face? Chase dads are like, you're not supposed to be in here. So he kills her and everything and dumps her body. The police find the body. They don't know who killed her. And so the gangster dude who Alice tried to save after shooting him and everything, they sacrificed him. And so when they sacrifice him, then Jonah has finally risen in episode 5. This is when they should have ran away but didn't. And so they tried to stop that dude from taking his essence, but they went to the wrong spot. They went down into the basement, but the parents weren't there. The parents went to the cult-like church and everything. Now, the church was founded by Caroline's father, but it's based on Jonah's alien religion and stuff. I forget what the aliens are called, but they glow and they shoot laser beams and stuff like that, right? And so Jonah is played by a dude who played Cole Balthazar on Charmed. He always plays the bad guy, but he never seems evil to me. Like when he was Doctor Doom, he just never seems evil for some reason. But the entire group is pissed, scared of him, but they don't know he's an alien, but they know he is something. And so when Chase's dad reveals about the affair and everything, Jonah is not happy that the group is breaking apart because he needs them and everything. He's the one who got Alex's father out of prison. He wants that land site that Alex's dad owns and stuff because they have to drill there for something, but nobody knows what it is. The family assumes it's like a fuel energy source, but it's not. And so like after all this happens, the kids get like a laptop and they steal some information off like the wizard computer that Nico's mom owns and stuff. And so Alex is trying to decrypt it. About this time, him and his parents are having a rift. And so when Chase's dad gets shot, he's so upset. He's all like, you ain't sending my dad to jail. He's fighting for his life. And he smashes the laptop. Now they no longer have proof and everything. And so the group does not want Caroline to know that Chase's dad got shot because they don't want Jonah to find out. But she finds out anyways, and she goes there. Jonah suspects as well, and he heads there. Boy, the most hilarious thing happens. He's all like, I need Chase's father. He's very important to me because he's an inventor, right? And so, like, he's all like, now I can save him with the box that he created, but we're gonna need a sacrifice. And so they're all like, well, who do you have in mind? He's all like, well, maybe the woman who shot him. Chase Butler's like, heck no. I am not getting in that box and he ain't killing me and everything. He's all like, she's all like, well, why don't we kill like Gertrude? Something like that. He's like, what? He's like, no, it can't kill me. I'm like smart and everything. I'm the one who created that serum to make people lose their memory. And Gertrude's mom like, yes, I helped her make that. So we're in the same category. So you can't kill me either. And so they all start pointing the finger. They're like, well, I don't want to go. It's the most hilarious thing ever. Till Gertrude's dad pulls a gun on them. All like, now I am not getting in that box. Now he's like, now you look here, Chase's mother. You don't do crap. You're just a housewife. You get yourself in that box. And then Alex dad pulls a gun on Gertrude's dad. So like, you put that gun down, man. And you get in that box. He's like, I ain't getting in that box. Guess who got into the box? Nico's dad, because he's so in love with Chase's mom, he's willing to sacrifice himself. This upsets Nico's mom, and she destroys the box with her staff. But luckily, there's one more box left, and Jonah's all like, I probably don't need a sacrifice. I'll give him half a life. Why not? But then Jonah's all like, I don't need to rejuvenate no more. That was the last one. But then towards the end, he starts to wither away a bit some more. Boy, that whole box situation was funny. And so, like, oh, what is it? So what happens after that? The kids get back together after fighting again, and now they need to know what the world is down at dig site because the parents are so adamant about having that. They don't know who Jonah is, but they know he's very important and very scary. So they go down to the dig site, and the parents show up. Then now we finally get a face-off, a literal face-off. The kids are blasting at the parents, but Jonah comes in and he is too much for the kids. He takes out Molly, he takes out Chase, he takes out Alex, he takes out Nico, but then he takes out Gertrude. And this is when Catalina sacrifices herself because she don't think he'll hurt her and stuff since they have the same power. Anyways, it's later revealed to her that he is her father. Much to the surprise that Caroline did not know that her family are aliens and stuff. Now, Caroline's husband, who she's married to, he assumed he was Catalina's dad, and so did Catalina, but he's not. He does not like Jonah. He saw those two clickety-clack years ago, but his memory got erased, but it's coming back. And then he saw a picture of little Caroline with an older Jonah, so he knows something weird is going on. Jonah used this to his benefit. It's all like, hey, look, man, you want to be the head of this cult because your wife ain't going to be it no more. So he turns his back on them and everything. And he is now like the head of like the church and everything. And so, what is it? They rescue Catalina and then they run away for the second time. Now, like I said before, let's get to Amy. Amy is the sister of Nico. Caroline killed the Hernandezes. And so it turns out that Jonah is the one who killed Amy. He comes into the room and he kills her with his power. And then he puts the drugs next to her, pretend like it's an overdose. Because, what is it, Caroline? See, what happened was Caroline, not Caroline, but Amy wanted to one-up her mom, find out secrets about Wizard, the company. And so Alex helped her hack it, right? And so when it set off the alarm, Jonah found out. So Caroline tried to warn Amy about the whole thing, but Jonah showed up and murdered her and stuff. And so Nico has no idea yet. And so when the Runaways, because they gave themselves the nickname the Runaways now, and they decided Alex is the one who gave it to him. He's all like, how about for the 15 Runaways that our parents murdered? They're like, no, that's too grim. But they keep it anyway. So they're at like the train station and they're trying to catch a train on out of town. Or they're at the airport, I can't remember which one. And so like as they're trying to get their tickets, remember that girl that I said that ran away in like the beginning and stuff? And she was later found alive, and then chases dad, like, kills her and stuff and dumped her body. Well, somebody alerted the police because when the kids ran away, the parents are so concerned they want their kids back now. And so they have to find them. And if the police find them, then hey. But Alex's dad literally said he didn't want the police involved because they might end up like worse and stuff. But somebody tipped off the police. And so now the kids are wanted for the murder of that girl from the beginning of the season. And so they're like, crap. And the homeless man sees them. And he figures out that's the one that they're talking about on the news. So they hightail it on out of there. And the last scenes we see of the show, of the first season, is them just literally running and down the street and everything, along with the dinosaurs. And this is like pretty cool. It's a family drama, superhero show and everything. It's a slow burn, like I said before, but that slow burn's all right because you're learning so much interesting stuff. And so, like, I was so hooked on this show, I could not wait for a second season. Because where are they gonna live? They literally kept saying that, like, once we're done doing this, like, what are we gonna do now? Because so far they were sleeping in like a car and stuff like that. And they have to like change their clothes because they're too recognizable. And Gertrude had to like put on a green wig because she has purple hair and stuff. People can still tell it's her, like, oh, you just dyed it from purple to green and stuff. And it's just like this show was just so intriguing. I love it's solid. Like it's solid from start to finish. That's the problem with the MCU Disney Plus shows. They're not solid. They start off interesting, they drag throughout the middle, it's a bunch of filler, then the last episode's pretty cool. And this show is not like that. This is a literal show and everything. And it sucks that it's no longer around, man. I would have loved to see season after season or them in the MCU. If they were to come to the MCU, it would have to be a different version and stuff. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that the parents, they get very suspicious of Jonah once they find out he's some weird kind of alien person. And they want to know what's in that little dig site. Jonah has now hired the church to take over it. And now Alex's dad no longer controls the dig site. So this makes them very curious to the point where Gertrude's parents, they decide to use their equipment and spy down there. And they find out a weird discovery. Something's living down there. And Caroline finds that out too. So that made for like a really good cliffhanger until like next season. Cause they never reveal what's living down there. I just remember being on anticipation, just like, man, what is it down there and stuff like that. And Jonah is deceiving them and they're starting to realize that, but they're terrified of him, especially more now. So they were terrified of him before they found out he was an alien. His closest companion is that of Chase's dad and that of Miko's mom. Miko's mom will literally do whatever he wants because she's scared of him and stuff, even though she is quite powerful herself. And as for Caroline, she's just like lovey-dovey in love with him, but she's starting to suspect things about him. And it makes her very, very, very worried and stuff. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.